Start recording.
Me too.
Yo, man, what up, man? Listen, all right, me and General had decided to do a weekly podcast with me and him because we have a lot of great discussions. And believe it or not, we actually have a lot of the same opinions in common, especially when it comes to things of like government nature. Right, because like I started off as a libertarian, you know what I mean, but like I moved away from that idea because I didn't want to have sex with Thai lady boys. You actually went and bought one though, didn't you, there, General?
This is libel and slander, Tom.
Well, it is what it is, man. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to libel and slander somebody who went to Thailand and bought a lady.
I am dating a Filipino woman who came over to the United States of her own volition. But hello, what is up, everyone? I am one half of the Promethean Tides. This is General. Hello, everybody.
Yo, man, listen. I'm Tom Pease of Pnoid News. All right, I am one half plus one half, which is I am one whole. All right, so that I am two of two. Okay, so one of one, as it is, you know what I mean? Because you divide two by the one, right? You come out with the one, and then you get the three, then you carry the one, right? And then 33 minus 13 is still 33 because it's highly Masonic numerology in the end of the day.
That's math.
Right?
That's
it's
math.
fucking math, dude. You know what I mean? Like, legit. And you don't have to really, like, get into, like, the whole common core thing to understand these basic facts. That 33 minus 13 is still 33 because that's the highest level of Masonry.
The biggest number I can think of is 37. I don't know if numbers go beyond that.
I mean, like, listen, as far as I don't understand time, right? I know nothing about, like any number that has to do with more than, like, you know, I mean, 100,000, right? If you get past 100,000, like, I feel like you win, right? I think that's a rule in almost every case. Like, I think that's it. You know what I mean? But if you get like a million and a billion, like, you know, especially like in dollars, you won the game. You know, that's how Monopoly works, right? Because that's what I used to do when I robbed a bank.
Yeah, I think if you can acquire $1 billion, I think that you've won at life, and that's it. That's it. Yeah, I would just retire. If I had $1 billion, I wouldn't do shit.
Listen, bro, if I had 2 million, I'd stop working. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be done for the. I'll be honest with you. You know what I mean? If I had like 10 grand, I'd stop working for a while. You know what I mean? That's just because, like, we used to call that what was known as nigger rich, right? You know what I mean? Like, you rich for that moment. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden now, like, I'm eating crab and lobster until I'm not no more. Right? I'm gonna spend every dime of that on like just balling for no reasons. Like, I'm gonna get a chandelier made out of expensive chicken dinners that I buy. Right?
That seems like a wise use of your finances. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I'm gonna hire one of them like them towel head dudes at the mall to put like little gold ropes on it and shit. You know what I mean? It'll be pimping, I'm telling you.
I mean, I think maybe that might have been the case back in the day, but I don't think $10,000 goes as long. It goes as far anymore.
$10,000 is always good. All right, it's good now. It was good then, and it'll be good like forever. All right, $10,000 will allow you to be hood rich for at least a week or two.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll do some like hyperinflation, and you'll need like $1 trillion just to buy a sandwich. You know, like maybe we're going the route of Zimbabwe. Who knows? You know, the future it's unpredictable.
Like, I feel like, you know, I mean, if we get to the point where a sandwich is $1 trillion, I'm just gonna start growing sandwiches. You know, I mean, that's my mentality, right?
What? Sorry. What is the species of plant that grows sandwich? I forget.
It's fucking sandwichicus, fucking ham and cheeses, right? I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
oh,
Yeah.
that's a good cultivar. I hear. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, like, yo, there was a dude, you know, who was breaking some shit down on YouTube earlier. I was watching a YouTube short because I be falling into that trap. I don't know why it does it to me. Like, I'm gonna end up like XV all retarded and shit, right? But like, I was watching one and it was about like these dude, they were like breaking down the species of like the attentionicus motherfucking ducklipicus, which is these females who are just out here taking selfies all over the place, right? And they said they're looking for a husbandanicus fucking maximus, right? And I said no. What they're looking for is fucking sympicus beta malicus, right? You know, I mean, that's what that's what they're really looking for. It's just guys to
Well,
give them money.
I mean, the benefit of Sympicus is that you don't actually have to date them, so you can have like a dozen. You can have a dozen Sympicus just all around you, orbiting, and so that's the benefit of the Sympicus.
I feel you, and you get all their money.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah. Actually, I think that all you have to do is like show them some feet pictures, and they'll give you like $100. Like that's a pretty good deal.
I mean, like ultimately, like you can just show him pictures of what you do naturally as a female, which is, you know, what I mean, have sex with your dog. You know what I mean? And like, you know, just it's automatic. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Right?
Yeah, I
They
mean you're
just
doing it anyway, right? So like, why not make some money off of it?
that's where I'm at right now. You know, like that's just part of life. You know what I mean? But like, yo, so did you hear about this debt ceiling thing?
Yeah, so I heard about this. I'm trying. So I guess we're talking about the 14th Amendment, and
No,
I
no, no, no.
assume.
First, let's start with the debt
Okay,
ceiling
all right,
thing, right? Let's start with the debt
okay,
ceiling thing,
all
right?
right. Go ahead.
So, like every year, you know, I mean, what they have to do now is they go, listen, you guys need to stop spending these people's monies, right? Because, like, yo, this is all the monies that we have, right? And then they go, well, you know, we're going to need more monies than that because we keep giving it out and making more of it constantly. So, like, we're going to need more monies. Right, and so
Well,
like, all
I
right,
mean,
well, yeah,
Ukraine needs funding. Okay, they need a lot of funding. You gotta keep that in mind.
yo, look, we have to pay for their retirements. It's highly important we pay for their retirements and their Medicare for all, right, and their bombs and their planes and their toenail polish and all the stuff that we do, right? So okay, we do all these things with the monies, and then every year they go, oh my God, we're gonna run out of monies, right? And then, like, Congress stands here and goes, you know what we're going to do? All right, we're going to threaten not to fucking pay for the government. We're going to default on the debt and make the government go away. Which I feel like is what you're saying is if you don't do what we tell you to do, we'll suck your dick. Right? And I'm like, I'm 100% down for a blowjob. You know what I mean? Me personally. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Like, is this a threat to you? Like, the government shutting down. Is this something that, like, would stop you from having a good time?
Yeah, they're threatening me with a good time. I'm like, oh boy, wow, that sounds amazing. Oh boy, I better do what you tell me to do.
Like, if the government disappeared tomorrow, right? I feel like I would dance. You know what I mean? I might go frolic through a field, like one of them 1930s movies, right? Like the Sound of Music. You know what I mean? I'd be like, the hills are alive with the death of the federal government, right? You know what I mean? It would be amazing. Like my hands outstretched, just poppies banging into my palms and shit.
Well, unlike you, Tom, I live in the city, so everyone around me would be extremely scared and crying. But
Why?
well, because people in the cities, they number one, they're left leaning overall. Number two, they rely on the government a lot, so they wouldn't be happy.
What
I
did
would
they
be happy.
rely on? Does the government make them sandwiches?
Actually, it kind of does. Yeah.
I mean, I understand the government pays for their sandwiches, but they can make their own.
I mean, yeah, but they like a sandwich is kind of a complex object, right? Like you have to like get grain, you got to refine the grain, you got to make bread, you got to have and you got to slaughter an animal, you got to slice its flesh so that you have some like nice thin deli meat. You got to like get some lettuce and tomato, maybe some mustard and mayo on that. It's kind of a whole process. Like in order to like acquire a sandwich, it's easy to do with an industry at scale, but it's kind of difficult for like just a farmer to do it.
I mean, I feel like it's not that difficult to do, right? In the end of the day, like none of this is like a really hard thing, right? And we've been doing this for like thousands of years. It's I understand that it's a skill that's been forgotten over the past like 100, but like if the government disappeared tomorrow, I wouldn't miss a meal. You know what I mean? Because like I know that like food runs around all over the place, right? Like everything that has four legs, you know what I mean, and breathes is food in the end of the day. So I mean,
Uh,
like we'll be okay.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things. Okay, I'll be serious here. I think that if the federal government just went away tomorrow, I think that people that live out in the middle of nowhere wouldn't affect them that much. But there would be massive amounts of instability within like cities. You would have like a whole bunch of people wondering, I don't get the welfare check anymore. Well, they're gonna start. They're probably gonna start up some sort of like gang in order to acquire food and resources, and they're just gonna be fucking marauding.
Is it gonna be like barbecue? Barbecue with Haiti.
I mean, I'm afraid that they're gonna get a taste for long pork. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would actually be concerned about the power vacuum. Like, my position is, I would like the federal government to go away, and then the state governments make up for the power vacuum that would inevitably occur. But but if it just happened suddenly tomorrow, I think that there would be quite a bit of anarchy, especially in the cities. But overall, would it be a good thing, like on a long enough timeline? Yeah, of course.
I mean, like, listen, on a short enough timeline, it's great for me, right? Because, like, literally the federal government does absolutely nothing for me whatsoever, right? Mm-hmm. Like, the government, like, literally, like, they don't even pick up my fucking trash. You know what I mean? They don't pay for my roads. They do literally nothing for me whatsoever, right? They make my life more difficult on a regular basis. Like, they take my money that, you know what I mean, like, I earn, and like I want to spend on my children, and they go and they spend it on other people's children. Like, it's annoying, right? So, like, I feel like if the government disappeared, it would not be a bad thing. Now, I do have a problem, right? Where, like, what they're doing is they're standing here and they're going, well, sir, you know, we need to cut off the welfare from single moms. And I'm like, but you created all the single moms. I feel like you should be paying for that, right? Like, as a government.
Well, I mean, okay, so the government created a massive problem, but I don't think that government is going to, like, continuing welfare. I don't think that it doesn't make the problem go away. It just continues the problem down the road, so that someone else has to deal with it in a few years.
No. What I'm here again. Here's my thing, right? Like, this is really one of my big problems with government as a whole, right? So, like, if you as a government stand here and you go, listen, we want to build this road, but it's going to go through your house. Like, the government has to stand here and go, well, we need your house, right? And we're going to pay you for your house, and you can go move into another house, right? And that's fine. Because they're paying for what it is that the government is doing, right? And that's how governments are supposed to work, right?
Okay, so you're in favor of eminent domain?
No, but on the same point, like, if you're going to fuck some shit up, you should pay for it.
Okay, yeah. At least there is some reimbursement. Yeah,
that's my thing. It shouldn't just be like, hey, we're gonna take your land. You can eat a dick and get the fuck out of our way. You know what I mean? If that was the case, it would be very bad. You know what I mean? But the problem is that's the attitude they have with everything the fuck else, right? Is they just go like, there was a really great SNL sketch that, like, they did back in the day where, like, I think it was Hillary Clinton was, like, in Congress at this point. This is back in, like, 2008, right? During the, like, fucking financial crisis when, like, they had a GM bailout. They had a bailout for the big three automakers. And the big three automakers came in. They did did their whole spiel. Like, you know, sir, like, you are losing $2,000 for every car that you sell. How do you plan on, like, fixing this, right? And they're like, well, sir, we're going to sell more cars. No, wait, scratch that. We don't know, right? Which was great. But then they had, like, this, like, Hillary Clinton goes, we've mandated 45 mile per gallon cars by 2015. So we've done our part. And then smiles all self-assuredly, right? But the problem is like, you need to pay for this, right? Like, if you're going to tell somebody they need to do some shit, you should pay for that, right? And I never understood that whole mentality of, like, GM got a bailout, you know, da-da-da-da. Like, yeah, no shit, they got a bailout. Like, man, listen, they employ, like, fucking, like, 500,000 fucking people, right, between, like, the parts distribution and transportation and manufacturing and all this fucking shit, right? And, like, yeah, of course they got a bailout because you told them they have to do some shit they weren't doing before, and then you demanded that they fucking do it, and, like, you didn't, like, stand here and help them get there at all. You're like, oh, here, you have to now, like, fucking, listen, all right, I know you normally drive to work. Okay, but I want you now to get to work at the same time, but I'm only going to give you 3 wheels for your vehicle, right? You know what I mean? You got to figure that shit out. Like, no, we don't riot, right? We'd be like, eat a dick. We'd all hop there on one leg and like shoot everybody. Like that would be what it was, right? Because like you're not paying for things.
Well, the government can mandate whatever it wants, right? Like the government could mandate that the entire 340 million population in the United States all sits around a campfire and sings "Kumbaya." They could mandate that. Doesn't mean it's gonna fucking happen.
Well, yeah, but they do this shit all the time, right? And so, like, when you stand here and you have like no fault divorce, and women have all the freedom, then you have child support, and then you have like all these shit, right? Excuse me, I've been sick for like fucking a week, right? Like, if when you stand here and you go like, hey, look, we're gonna have women have freedom to leave and do whatever they want, but we don't want to pay for it. Right? So, you know what I mean? All these dudes who are poor, you know what I mean? The reason why they're getting divorced, like a number one cause of divorce usually is either A, infidelity, or B, financial problems, like and infidelity caused by financial problems, right? These dudes are like, you're losing your job, everything's all fucked up, and you're not reliable anymore, so the female goes and relies upon the state, and then the state goes, you're going to pay that money back, right? And they go, wait, what? Like, yo, you're the one that gave her the free fucking money. Like, why didn't you just give me the money and we could have stayed together and the family could have been cool instead of having 2 different households? No, that's not good for GDP. All right. So, like, what we need you to do is, like, yo, you pay us back the money that we're going to give your wife. It's fucking dumb.
Well, yeah, I mean we found ourselves in a situation where, for some women, actually many women probably, it is there are economic incentives that you marry the government instead of marrying a man. You might actually be able to have 17 kids with 8 different baby daddies and make that all financially work as long as you marry the government as opposed to any particular man. Yeah, and we put this in, and now we're surprised that oh wow, now exactly that is happening all the time, and they're completely dependent on the government. Like, I, yeah, it's I I don't know how to fix that except for maybe we just stop giving them money.
Well, okay, it's either A, we stop giving them money, right? Which we're not going to do. All right. That's never going to happen because, like, women not having freedom would, like, crash the GDP, right? Or B, we give them all the money, right? We like, yo, here, you know what I'm saying? And like, yo, dudes, you're fine. Just do what you do. You know what I mean? Like, yo, stop worrying about trying to take it out of dudes and just like, yo, the government needs to pay for what it does. Like, why is this a fucked up concept?
Here's all right. How about this? How about this? Okay, instead of taking it away all at once, right? This is what we do. The people that are currently receiving, like the welfare moms that have 17 kids, if they're currently receiving welfare, all right, fine. You will keep continuing to receive welfare because government started the problem, and well, governments gonna have to pay until the problem goes away. But no new welfare recipients. The ones that exist are ordered in, but no new ones. I think that's fair.
Not because we're also outlawing abortion, right? So
in red states we are. In blue states, they're encouraging you to have more abortion. Shout your abortion.
I mean, like, yo, they're standing here. Excuse me, they're standing here going like, hey, look, you can't have an abortion. You know what I mean? And like, there's not going to be any motherfucking welfare. So like, they're just going to rely heavier on child support, and they're just going to lock up more dudes, and like, they're just going to fuck us over. Right? Like, I feel like it's like, hey, look, if you're going to stand here and tell women that they should be free, you know what I mean, and not like make them responsible for shit, then like maybe, you know what I mean, like, yo, you should just pay for it. That's where my mentality gets down to. Right? Like,
okay,
wait. How about better? Listen.
Right.
We spend the things that we spend money on, right? Our big 3 like spending items in America, right? Are Social Security, Medicare, and defense, right? Like welfare is like nothing. Welfare is like 250 billion or some shit, right? You know what I mean? But like,
yeah, it's actually it's mostly taking care of old people. Like most of our money goes towards making sure that old people can live an extra day.
Yeah. So how about we stop doing that?
We could. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that would be healthier for all of us.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's the old people who vote, right? Like old people vote
I
a lot more
don't
than young
care.
people, and old people vote for old people getting benefits. Like, I mean, that's how it works, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I fully the fuck understand, right? You know what I mean? But again, this should not be motherfucking like no, okay, no. We need to cut back on like they're the problem, not us. Why are we continuing to take care of them? Why are you robbing me to take care of them?
Uh, why would you take resources away from the people who are trying to start families and give it to people that probably should have died 8 years ago? I don't know. That's just how we're doing things, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, none of this makes any sense, right? So,
No.
you know what I mean? That brings us up to like, you know what I mean, our current situation where like, you know, the problem is we have a whole bunch of old fucks who want to live one more day. You crash the economy to protect them during COVID because, you know, boomers, you know what I mean? Right? And like we're all standing here going like, okay, and then they're like, hey, we have a massive inflation problem, which is being driven by their retirements being paid out, right? And then the market's collapsing because like all of their investment money comes from the boomers. And then on top of that, they're holding on to all the housing. They're still the number one consumer in the country. The boomers are the problem, and why can't we have a basic conversation about boomers?
Well, I mean, they grew up in like basically the best economy. They made a shit ton of money, and then they said, you know what? Even though I've made a shit ton of money, and just the economy was just the perfect place for me to exist for like 40 years. You know what? Even if I mismanage all of the things that I've been able to accrue, and I lose it all. The young people, when I get old, should still have to pay for my ass, and that's the boomer mentality. Yeah, and
Yo,
that's what they decided.
and on top of that, they bought a house for like a $500 bill from Monopoly and a pack of gummy bears, right? And I'm standing here and I'm just like, yo, this is this is beyond like I understand that life is not fair, all right? Like I completely get that, right? I 100% understand life is not a fair thing. But fuck, like yo, it can't be this bad. Like it shouldn't be this fucking bad. Like legitimately, no.
It's not just like an individual unfairness where it's like you got like one person, you know, like a car drives by you and there was a puddle and you get splashed by water. Like yeah, life isn't fair, but this is like a generational unfairness. Something has to be done about that. I don't know. Maybe it'll take care of itself. The boomers are going to die one day.
Man, listen. Like I fucking can't, man. You know what I mean? Like legitimately, I fucking can't. So now, in order to continue to pay for the boomers and like continue to honor our debts to go pay for toenail fucking polish in Ukraine, they've decided that they want to invoke the 14th Amendment, right? And the 14th Amendment it's a big ass amendment. It has like 5 sections, right? Like the first section is about like naturalized citizens and things of this nature, right? The second motherfucking the second one stands here and talks about motherfucking who the hell is like available to vote and how they shall be counted, right? This is all post Civil War, right? This was passed in 1867, right? Motherfucking this person, the section 3 is, you know what I mean, about like people who serve in the motherfucking, in the senators or president or election or vice president or Congress shall, you know what I mean, like never have given aid or comfort to the enemies, right? You know what I mean, or be motherfucking like have engaged in insurrection or rebellion. Section 4 is the validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. But neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss of emancipation of any slave. But all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be illegal, shall be held illegal and void. Right?
Okay. I mean, I get what it's saying. I think. I mean, maybe like I think that your main thing that you want to get into is Section 4, but um I can find things that I disagree with on I think all of these
The whole
sections.
the whole thing. I agree with you. Go keep
Yeah.
talking for a second. Just speak for like 5 seconds. I gotta go pee real quick. So I gotta go to the next room.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I think there's an issue with Section 1. So all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. So basically, this is how you get the anchor babies, right? Where you have I don't know, like let's you have a man and a woman from China, and they just I don't know the woman is 9 months pregnant, and then they go on vacation to the United States for like a couple weeks, and then oops, the mother it just happens. I mean, she's 9 months pregnant. Why is she on vacation? Who knows? But the mother, she just happens to have a baby in America. Oh, now that baby is a citizen just because it was born on our soil. I don't know if that's a great idea. Other countries don't do things like that.
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, I mean, all right. So again, this entire fucking thing should have been struck down a long time ago.
I mean, it's quite, but parts of it just lead to bad outcomes, and other parts seem totalitarian as fuck.
I mean, all right, the United States and the state wherein they reside, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within his jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Right? It just like literally this is like the fourth fucking amendment, just as an in general thing. I understand, you know what I mean? Like this is about like making sure that black people had fucking rights as an in general thing. Like all you could have done like
That
had a
was the
right.
intention.
Like
That was
the
the intention originally, but it leads to anchor babies, and that's actually a huge problem.
yeah. And we're on the same thing here too as well, right? Fucking like that's section 2. Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their representative members, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed. But when the right to vote at any election for the choice of electors for president and vice president of the United States, representatives in Congress, and the executive and judicial officers of a state, or members of the legislature thereof, is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such states being aged 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged except for participation in rebellion or other crime, the basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the proportion which the number of such male citizens shall bear the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in each state. Right? And
Okay, so
like
this is
the entire
uh,
thing is literally this is just about like fucking over the South.
so I find it interesting that like the words are so vague here because it says uh, except for participation in rebellion or other crime, and it's like okay, so what what exactly constitutes rebellion here? Like if you're protesting, let's say that you were a January 6th protester. Um, I mean, some parts of the government would consider that to be the worst thing since 9/11 and just a complete act of sedition. And then other people are like, yeah, it was just a protest. Like, you're allowed to protest. It's guaranteed under the First Amendment that you can do that. Um, like, it's too vague. It's too vague. Like, in theory, the government could just start calling anything a rebellion.
Yeah, I mean, like they called January 6th an insurrection, and that was
Mm-hmm.
with purpose, right? Is the
Yep.
motherfucker stand here and put this in, right? Because like literally, when they say our democracy, right? Like that's one of the big talking points. Like they're the threat to our democracy. What they're saying is they're a threat to our oligarchy, right? And if you threaten their fucking oligarchy, right, like literally they're going to like, yo, man, you're causing an insurrection and a rebellion, and you don't respect the institution of the United States. And like, yeah, you're fucking right, I don't. You know, what I mean, like, yo, fuck the goddamn institution. Like, legitimately, like, I'm
Well,
not, I'm not that type of person.
and actually, Section 3 seems to be even worse. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or any other state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislator, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion. So basically, let's take January 6th again. If let's say that like, I don't know, a senator happened to have like said, yeah, I'm in support of the protests during January 6th, the government could say, nope, that was actually that was an insurrection, that was a rebellion, and so you're not allowed to run anymore because we declared that. That seems dangerous.
Yeah. And like it says, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. Like literally, this whole amendment is nothing but bullshit about the Civil War.
Yeah, it's about the Civil War, but it can be applied to so many other things. Like, what if, like, actually under this?
Well, no, and like, here's the thing, right? The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. Again, like, I can understand why what they would say the 14th Amendment, but like, this is not, you know what I mean? Like this is not to pay like just the public debt of the United States. You know what I'm saying? This is to pay for the public debts of the Civil War.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this, in the context of the Civil War, this makes sense. But they put it into the Constitution, and so now it can apply to anything. Like, for instance, like in Section 3, it says, or given aid or comfort to enemies thereof. Okay, well, what if we were to say that I don't know, like Joe Biden, what if he did some money laundering schemes in some various areas, foreign powers that could be declared enemies of the United States? Well, in that case, President Biden can no longer be president. If you just actually establish that part that, oh yeah, okay, well, China's an enemy, and Biden got some benefits for China. Ergo, Biden should not be allowed to be president if we declare China to be an enemy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how this.
I mean, like, no, I mean, because it says like that. Well, not because like China didn't, you know what I mean, stand here and have an insurrection or rebellion, right? So I mean, that's a different thing.
Okay.
Right. Well, but like literally, like anybody who was at Jan 6.
Is it only domestic?
Well, that's what it says here.
The enemies thereof. Okay, so it has to be insurrection or rebellion. So it has to be domestic enemies. Okay, I got you. Okay, I understand. So, like,
again, why did we need a constitutional amendment about the fucking goddamn Civil War?
Because it was prudent at the time, I would assume.
No, I mean, like, you don't need to amend the whole fucking Constitution for this. You just needed to pass legislation.
That probably would have been smarter, but, I mean, at that point, the Union had just won the Civil War, and, you know, some people call it the War of Northern Aggression. I don't, but, I mean, it does seem as though the Union was being a little bit totalitarian about this stuff. And they were like, hey, you know what? We just won a war. We can amend the Constitution now. Because I think at the time, the southern states didn't even have a right to vote over any of this. They had to agree. They had to ratify like this in order to even have representation in the government again. So like it was, the South was being strong-armed into ratifying
this. Who the fuck even ratified this in the first? I mean, like, I'm assuming they stacked the governments in the South with, you know what I mean, like fucking Northern supporting, like federal supporting people, right? Like, this is
no,
the fact that they want to use this to like stand here and say in 2023 that the public debt of the United States needs to continue to be paid for after the Civil War with an amendment that was literally put in there for the Civil War. And this, and I'll be real, this is an argument that's been had forever, right, in the federal government. This is why we have the federal government, right? It's because when it came to paying for the Revolutionary War, right, the problem is that, like, the debt that they had incurred from that, they were trying to get, like, this, all of the fucking colonies or the states at that point to pay for that debt. Right, and like most of them, weren't able to make the payments because they weren't making enough money, they didn't collect enough tax, they didn't have enough business, these type of things. Right? So therefore, they were standing here, like they were standing here like they had to form the federal government in order to be able to like have a national type of tax that they were able to pay for, whatever the fuck it was. And then that got polluted, which is one of the reasons why the Civil War ended up happening in the first fucking place. Right? But like, this has nothing to do, right, with just paying random debts. This has to do with the debts of the motherfucking military and the debts of the goddamn fucking war. That's it.
Well, it has to do with this this specifically has to do with debts incurred by, I guess, getting rid of insurrections and rebellions. Whatever an insurrection or a rebellion is, this has to do with debts incurred by repressing insurrection and rebellion. So this doesn't I'm not sure how this actually connects to like paying out like Social Security, because Social Security isn't related to an insurrection or a rebellion. Although you could say that if you didn't pay out the Social Security, then you might get an insurrection or a rebellion. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Yo, it's so retarded. Like I don't understand how it is that they're trying to like in 2023 use this as a way to be able to go like, hey, look, this is what this is going to get knocked down in any fucking like especially in the Supreme Court right now. This is why our government doesn't work. This is why nothing works.
But I don't think that the Supreme Court doesn't have an ability to overrule amendments, right? Like they can.
They do. No, they do. They do. They do.
I know that they can overrule like any law that Congress produces, but I feel like the Supreme Court. I don't think they have the ability to overrule an amendment.
They do. They overruled motherfucking like a bunch of amendments back in the day. There was a bunch of amendments that like FDR passed. They got rubber stamped. The Congress rubber stamped it. Whatever, right? And like literally, the Supreme Court knocked them the fuck down.
Well, no, I mean that. But to put a new amendment into the Constitution, don't you need the states to ratify it? And at that point, isn't that like when?
I mean, Alabama just recently motherfucking ratified motherfucking the 13th Amendment. Which is the fucking anti-slavery amendment and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they like a lot of them didn't like ratify all this shit.
Well, you just need a majority. You don't need every state.
No. Right? Because like if your state says that like that amendment or whatever it is, like they don't want to ratify it, that means they don't have to honor it.
Well, yeah, but if it's enforced by the federal government, then I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do?
Well, you can have that out then in the courts. That's the thing, right? Just like this shit here, right? So like if they try to pass this under the guise of the 14th Amendment, right? And they go, we're enacting the 14th Amendment. This is what this is. They can get up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court and go, no, this isn't, that's not what the 14th Amendment's for. And they can, kick it the fuck out.
I mean, maybe I'll have to read up on my history, I guess, but
yeah, so if you wanted to stand here and like try to claim that you have a power to do something, right? And it's according to some amendment, right? then like fucking when they enact that power and then somebody goes, no, I'm gonna file a court case on that one right there, and they sue to get up to the Supreme Court hears the motherfucking arguments, and then they go, well, yeah, you don't have that power, sir, and then they tell him to eat a dick and he has to stop doing whatever he's doing.
Honestly, I will take your word for it that that is a thing, that the Supreme Court can strike down constitutional amendments. If that is the case, I'm actually super against that. I think that the will of the states actually should be above the power of the Supreme Court. If what is it, like a if 2/3 of the states agree that there should be an amendment passed, then I don't see how it is that the Supreme Court should have any power to go against the states, because ultimately the federal government derives its power from the states in theory.
No, the federal government derives its power from itself. Right, it's from its military. In the end of the day,
of course it does. I agree that that's in practice, but according to, I guess, how the founders wanted this nation to work, it is like, the power is from the people and the people live in states. Like, that was the idea, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's just like the right of secession, right? Like, okay, this is how this is supposed to work, right? This is supposed to be like a relationship where, like, okay, me and you are doing business. You know what I mean? We agree that we're going to form, you know what I mean, into being like an entity, a business entity, right? And if one of us is no longer happy with how that business goes, we can walk the fuck away. Even if that means like we have to leave everything on the table, we'll walk the fuck away and leave everything on the table, right? That's how this is supposed to operate.
Ideally.
But we're not allowed to leave.
No, you can't leave. You are essentially, at this point, a state is a slave to the federal government for whatever reason.
Well, we were talking about this last night, right? This is exactly what I was talking about last night when I was talking about value, right? When we were talking about the value of a human being, right? And like your ability to stand here and negotiate and say like, I want this much money for this, or like I want to be able to like, have you not bother me, whatever the case is, your value in that argument, right, is all based off of your economic production or, or your ability to commit violence, right? Or your ability just to walk away. That's a big power, right? You're the civil disobedience of saying like, I'm not going to do something, right, is power in the end of the day. And if you don't have the power to go, we're not, either you stop doing this or we are not going to be a part of you anymore, you don't really have any power. Like, if you're trapped there, what power do you really have?
You have effectively none, and that's why we've seen the federal government just increase exponentially in size, while all 50 states must remain as serfs to the kingdom of the federal government. That's what has occurred.
Right.
And actually, you know what's even better about it? Under all of this bullshit that was passed in the 20th century, now you have these 3-letter agencies that are essentially the true rulers of the federal government, and they're not elected, and they can stay in power for their entire lives. They're essentially the kings or the princes or the dukes of the federal government, and the people we elect are just mascots. Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of so. We need to figure out a way to get our right to secession back.
I don't know how, except for just like cleaning house and making the federal government like 30% the size of what it currently is. I don't know how to do that.
I mean, we have to be able to have the basic power as maybe like because I like. Did you hear about the Greater Idaho Project?
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Right. And like, imagine if all of these like parts of Idaho that I mean, are like being successful and just leaving and just doing whatever the fuck they want. Imagine if they stood here and said, "We're our own country now."
Well, they're just trying to join a different state, but
I mean,
they could also.
yeah, like what would happen if they said, "Yeah, we don't want to be part of y'all anymore"?
Well, uh, maybe like 5 years ago, I would say that Texas would be most likely to do that. But Texas, there's been so many blue people moving in that at this point it's become a little bit more purple, and I doubt that there's any area for it to succeed. But I mean, secession could happen in like maybe like New Hampshire. Like honestly, I could see like New Hampshire might be the first state.
New Hampshire's really not leaving.
I mean, probably not. Like, which state do you think would be more likely than New Hampshire? Like maybe Alaska? I don't know.
California?
I don't think that California would. Like, California loves the federal government. They love it.
I think California probably be the best bet, right? Because like, if you offered them the opportunity to be their own country, right? And like you told them, hey, look, you don't have to pay federal taxes anymore, right? And you could get whatever you want passed, and you're not under U.S. U.S. Laws anymore. Like I feel like California has the numbers and economy to make it happen.
Oh yeah, no, they do. Like they could, but because of their ideological,
it'll have to be a place with a coastline. Is kind of where I'm at. Would be the first place.
Yeah, no, I agree. But and I like California could. I think they might have the best ability to do so, but they won't because of their ideological biases.
I don't know. I think Cali might be the one to do it, right? Like, that might be the sleeper area where, like, they just go, fuck the federal government. We're going to do what we want to do and just, get the fuck out.
So you think if Trump wins in 2024, California might secede?
It wouldn't be a far shot.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I support the Californians' right to ditch the union and go do their own thing. I totally support it.
I mean, like, okay, so here's the problem that I have with like the idea of politics right now. I'm kind of scared, right, because of Fetterman, right? Fetterman scares the shit out of me.
He should, yeah.
Right? Because literally, we would rather pick a guy whose brain is obviously rotting, right? And who isn't really capable. He's not a human being anymore. Like he's damn near the level of a chimp. Like, did you see the speech he gave in Congress the other day?
Yeah, it was garbled nonsense, but I kind of understood what he was trying to say. He was like, the banks shouldn't be bailed out by the government, and I agree with that point. Like, he didn't say it well, but I think that was what he was trying to say. Like, it shouldn't be the responsibility of the government to bail out banks that made really shit decisions. It shouldn't be welfare for these large entities.
Listen, all right, the guy, right, is not a human being anymore, right? And he was overwhelmingly picked. Right? Like, overwhelmingly picked. Like, they were just like, yeah, we're going to take him. And I understand, like, why none of us liked Oz, right? Like, I get it. But Oz wasn't that bad of a candidate. You know what I mean? Like, he had name recognition. You know what I mean? Like, he was a TV star. Everybody knew who he was. Like, the normies, like, could have, like, enjoyed his policies. But they literally picked Fetterman, right? Who had a stroke and couldn't talk.
I don't understand that. I have no idea why it is that the people of Pennsylvania decided that instead of the... Oz maybe didn't have all the best policies, kind of a neoconservative, not my favorite dude, but um, he was kind of middle of the road conservative. And Pennsylvania went, no, not him. I want the guy who might as well have Down syndrome. Why?
And that's what scares me, right? Is I think it's kind of getting to the point where like Republicans can't win anymore.
I I mean, yeah, but also I have no idea why because, like, a lot of I'm not saying that the Republicans have all of the best policies, but like at least the policies that they put up overall most of the time make sense, and like I don't know what's up with the voting populace. Like maybe it's the mail-in voting thing. I don't know, but um, I I have no idea why it is that that the Democrats keep winning because they don't put forward intelligent policies. They don't do anything. Like look at if you look at the United States under Biden, like it's been a complete shit show. We have inflation everywhere. Everyone is poor. The economy sucks. Also, the government has went full authoritarian under like the COVID lockdowns and whatnot. And under Trump, everyone was doing well and they were making a lot of money. And yet the voting populace is like, no, we got to vote for Democrats because Democrats equals good guys. I don't know why that is. I have no idea. But it's a thing.
I mean, like I feel like all right. I think maybe it's on a level of where they put enough people through the institutions that like they've just said Republican bad for like 18 years and they like everybody just believes it. You know what I mean? Like the media has completely polluted their fucking brain. And I'm not a Republican by any means. Like I hate most of the Republicans fucking shit. And all of like everybody hates the Christian right. Right. If you're on the hardcore right wing side of thing, libertarians, fucking Mises, Rothbard, Hoppe people, like all of us hate the Christian right because they're fucking retarded. Right?
And authoritarian, yes.
Yeah, we all hate. No one likes the dick and pussy wing of the Republican Party, right? Like, I don't want them to stand here and, what I mean? Like, I don't want them controlling what I do with my genitals, right? I'm like, yo, listen, I want to be able to have sex with who I want to have sex with. Like, stop bothering me. um, it's just I don't care like if females want to stand here and have abortions. I don't care. What I mean, as an in general thing, like I don't give a fuck, right? Because like it doesn't really matter. They're going to do it anyway, right? Like literally, like, I understand that like the economic standpoint of this country is that women buy cheap plastic shit on credit, therefore GDP number go up, right? And that's their
Well, yeah,
mentality.
and it's better to have women in the workforce continuing to earn money to buy cheap plastic shit. You don't want them like taking maternity leave, like giving a shit about family or whatever, and like maybe like not working as much. That would be bad for GDP number to go up. I like totally. Um, and actually, I agree with you. I think that I'm kind of sick of the Republicans saying that like abortion is wrong or whatever. I think that there are people in the United States that they just won't get abortions. Maybe because it's religious reasons. Maybe it's because they believe in like a nature god and they think that doesn't that doesn't help nature god at all. So there are going to be people that just don't get abortions, but who will get abortions? All of the lefties. Like, just don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. If they want to end their own population and just get rid of themselves, then let them get rid of themselves. I'm totally in support of all the abortion that anyone wants to have.
I mean, like,
unlimited abortions.
listen, man. All right, it's not even the lefties who are having the abortions. Like, I'll put
It's the
money
lefties.
on
It's
it,
a lot of
and
lefties.
I'll put money on it, and Coulter's had like 40.
I don't think Ann Coulter has had any abortions. Come on.
I think about it, bro.
I mean,
Think about it. Come on
is
now.
she is
Think about it.
is she married? Is
No.
she married? Does she have kids?
No.
Yeah, she might have had some secret abortions, but you know what? She was gonna have them anyway. She might be a
This
lesbian.
is what I'm saying, right? This is what I'm saying, right? Is like, yo, it's. I mean, I'm not big on like the hypocrite thing, right? Like, I don't, like, I'm fucking perfectly fine with being a hypocrite as an in general thing, right? I don't care. Like, if you're gonna stand here and say to do the right thing, even though you're not doing it, good for you, right? You know what I mean? Like, if you realize what you're doing is wrong and you're gonna tell somebody else, like, you could be doing a line of coke off of a rail, going, "I don't do this shit. It's bad for you." I probably agree with you. You know, you probably know more than most people. You know what I mean? Like, you've had to have your scapula rebuilt and all the other bullshit, right? You know, and so like I don't really care about the hypocrite thing. That's not what bothers me, right? What bothers me is normal people really have a hard time with the whole hypocrite thing, right? Like on a regular basis, I have people who like I deal with, and they go like, "Oh man, like how are you gonna say that to me? Like you did all these da 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 da," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know the outcomes because like I did this shit." You know what I mean? Right? So it's kind of on that level where I'm sitting here, and but I realize what the normal people are going to say, right? Like the normal people are going to say all
Well, you know,
types of
actually,
retarded
I would say
shit.
that I would say that some of the best wisdom actually comes from hypocrites. You know, like you got some dude and he's like, oh yeah, no, I did heroin and I did it for like 5 years and now I'm here to tell you don't do heroin. Like I did heroin, but don't fucking do it. It's a bad idea. Like actually, the best wisdom probably does come from hypocrites.
Yeah, right. And I'm fine with that. You know, what I mean, like I'm perfectly okay with that mentality. You know, and I don't have a problem with people fucking up their life as an in general thing. Like if you want to have fun and do whatever the fuck you're gonna do, like go have at it, enjoy yourself, right?
Yeah.
I'm not one of these, you know what I mean? Like again, like I hate the dick and pussy wing of the Republican Party. Like I think they're fucking retarded. I hate Christ cells. Like we've been running into these guys on the internet, these young kids who are like, you know, Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior, and we should stand here and try to live our lives the same way that Jesus did. And I'm like, he wore a robe and sandals and walked in the desert. I've never been to a desert. You know what I mean? And I'll be honest with you, I don't like sandals. And I'm also not a Jew. I don't live in Jerusalem. I've never been to Galilee. I'm not a Middle Easterner, nor do I live in the time of Caesar. I feel like I'm not. I don't want to be like Jesus. Like I'm not. I'm not that type of person.
That's extremely heretical of you to say, Tom.
I agree. Does it really matter though?
No, I don't think it does matter.
I mean
No, I mean
that's the
honestly,
point, right?
like here's my perspective. I think that uh, I'm not a Christian myself. I do believe in God, but I'm not a Christian. But I think that maybe the West was actually a little bit cucked by Christianity. I think that before Christ, the West was a little bit more um, ambitious. I think.
I don't think you're wrong, right? I don't think you're wrong. I think Christianity is the religion of the weak, right? It's a religion for weak
Yep.
and women, right? And it's been turned into a weapon to like pacify those who would threaten the upper class.
Yeah, yeah, I think I would agree with that. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I don't think it's a positive thing for any of us to stand here and try to be Christians.
Well, you know, that's why I preach the words of nature God. You know, it's actually the Christian God is a false God.
You want to you
I
want to hear
preach the
some
truth
crazy
of the
shit?
true God.
You want to hear some crazy shit, General?
Sure. Yeah.
You have not said axiomatic or the other word that you use all the goddamn time in this entire conversation. It's been 59 minutes. You have not used the word axiomatic or fucking. I forget the other word that you use, man. I'll be honest with you.
Axiology.
Yeah, you haven't word
I
axiology.
just used it. I just used it. God damn it! You made me use it. God damn it, Tom. I was trying not to.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, man, like, like we don't. I like getting into these deep ass conversations, right? It's like one of my favorite things is to like really dig deep on like a fucking subject and shit, like really get into it, right? Because it's fucking fascinating to me because like we all have like our opinions about like how shit is supposed to go, right? And like getting down deep to the meat of things, and I think that's where like the meat of this is that you know like and this is why like I bring up cultures and shit of this nature is that like your religion is supposed to fit over top of your culture, and your culture comes from your geography, your community, and your family, right? And so like I think we've lost all of that because now everybody shops at fucking Walmart, and this
Well,
is why I want
that
to split the country up.
no, I mean it's. I think that there's been a. I mean, this is what you call globalism, right? Globalism is it's not about diversity. It's not about having a whole bunch of cultures unite and intermingle. It's about having a monoculture. You have one culture, and that's it. It's just one. There's one brand. It's controlled by an oligarchy. It doesn't matter where in the world you travel. They're all selling the same products. It's all the same culture. The internet allows actually the culture to spread to any nation. It's homogenization, and I personally fucking hate it.
I mean, it's pasteurization, it's homogenization, it's what fucking Iron Bastard calls it a liquid culture, right? Where like it's just whatever's I mean fucking comfortable and that type of thing, and just everybody talks the same. Like, and it's getting to the point now where like even in like your Nordic countries, they're losing their fucking languages and they're losing their accents, and they're becoming more and more and more like us because they're spending their whole childhoods on the internet, like playing Fortnite or whatever I mean, fucking game that they fucking play nowadays.
Yep.
What up, Hector?
Well,
What's up, buddy?
hello.
Are you talking about? I know you guys are recording, but how's it going, Tom's subscribers?
Yo.
Are you guys talking about like the modernization caused by the internet?
Well, just as in we're just talking about like the homogenization of culture that has actually like ruined the idea of like religions because like you're like your religious celebrations and your ceremonies and all this type of shit. That's why like you have
Of course.
you have what's that shit down south? Fucking like Cinco de Mayo, fucking Dias los Muertos.
Day of the Dead.
Yeah. Dias
I
los
mean,
Muertos and all that type of shit, right?
even at a larger level, religion was supposed to be based off of nationality, right? The West has Catholicism, Christianity. The East has the Middle East has Islam. The South has Buddha. I mean, these were ideas that were supposed to be. Or sorry, the East, the actual East, not the South. I'm sorry. They had Buddha. These were ideas that were supposed to only congregate into one area, not spread throughout the world.
They're supposed to be localized, and also the like from my perspective, like everything that comes that has been produced from the mind of men, these are tools, right? So language is a tool, mathematics is a tool, religion is also a tool. These are things that these are memes, right? They're memetics, and they grow and they evolve in service of us, right? So they're like trying to find truth in religion or language or math is kind of like trying to find truth in a hammer. Like it doesn't make any sense. But these are useful tools. Hammers are useful, and also religions are useful, but they need to be regional because like Buddhism works for the Japanese or whatever. I don't think Buddhism works for your average American. That's okay.
Sure.
Well, no. Again, like the problem is that like you don't have like your local shit anymore, right? Like we've become so homogenized, and do you know what paganism actually means? Nature God, motherfucking goddamn general. You know what paganism actually is?
I mean, I kind of know what it is, and I kind of like it. But go ahead. What's your definition?
Well, paganism just means the religion of the people of the country of the rural areas.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
right?
Any non-mainstream religion
Yeah,
in a certain nation.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah,
you could technically be a pagan in America if you follow Islam,
yeah,
right?
right.
I mean,
Pretty much what it
no,
is.
no. You're if like if you like went over to Iraq and you studied like Islam and then you came back to America, I don't think that makes you pagan. I think that it has to organically come from the people that live in that nation. It can't be implanted.
You don't think it can be you don't hold on. You don't think paganism can be implanted?
I mean, it could. I'm just saying, like, I think that like it has to come from the people, like, I mean, that's like saying if I moved to Japan, like, let's say I was a Christian, I moved to Japan or North Korea or something, and I just
Mm.
started, and I kept practicing Christianity. That doesn't make me a pagan. That just makes me an implant from like a foreign nation. That's not the
That
same
makes
thing
you
as paganism.
that makes you a based god actually.
Oh,
Makes you a
does
very
it?
based god.
Okay. Right.
No, I mean
I
most
mean,
pagan ideology is very cringe anyways.
well, no, no. All right. So, okay, here's the thing, right? So, you're supposed to have paganism, right? Throughout your culture, throughout your civilization.
You're supposed to worship Moloch.
Man, listen, I feel you gotta sacrifice babies to Moloch. Like that's a highly
You're
important thing.
supposed to worship Baal.
Right, you gotta worship ball and pan.
I'm a
Right.
Jewish pagan. I'm a Jewish pagan.
Okay. Anyway,
Good.
right. So, all right.
Ah,
So basically, the premise is that like what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to have like everybody out in the country having their Christian celebrations tied into their regular natural celebrations that they already have. Right, like for instance, like we have like strawberry festivals out here and apple festivals and I mean whatever it is, right? And part of that is supposed to be the religious aspect to it, right? And so it ends up melding together to where like it's literally like you get excited about I mean whatever family meal you're going to have that day or whatever you're going to share in your community or whatever it is, right? And you say your prayer during that thing and like like your religion blends into that and it becomes part of your religion, right? But like that is already happening. That was already a thing before your religion came in. That's how it's
Yeah.
supposed to work. That's why paganism's important.
It's the specific, it's the concrete, it's the tangible, and it's the regional. Yeah, it's like, hey, like maybe like as a pagan, maybe like I live in an area where they grow a lot of pumpkins, so I've conceptualized a pumpkin god, and I pray to the pumpkin god for a bountiful crop of pumpkins this year.
Well, more
Whereas,
more like you have pumpkin based feasts, right? And like you look
sure,
you
yeah.
look forward to the pumpkin pie, right? I'll
Right.
give you a good for instance. Like even in my
But
Catholic,
whereas that would not exist in Thailand. They don't fucking grow pumpkins in Thailand. So
Yes.
they have a whole different set of shit that they look at and celebrate.
Exactly, right? That's why like down south, what I mean, like in places like Louisiana or Mississippi, when somebody dies, what I mean, especially in like black communities, they'll literally like throw a party and have that person propped up in the coffin in the room, right? And they'll be like offering him drinks, what I mean, and like pouring liquor out in his shoes and, what I mean, like dancing and celebrating the like fucking, what I mean, stand here and have a celebration of his life, right? And these are parts of like your religious culture that are very important, right? That are like very fundamental because it's tangible. My priest,
Actually,
when I went to Catholic church, every Easter, I remember like it was a big thing. He would motherfucking like he would walk through like and this is mostly for the kids, you know what I mean? But like he would walk through the middle of like the fucking the pews and shit and hold a chocolate bunny above his head and then bite its head off on the fucking front and shit, right? Then these are kind of dumb little things that mattered. You know what I mean?
Actually, here's a modern day example of one. It's like a pour you pour one out for the homie, because like if you had someone who died, like a friend or something, you pour one out for them.
Yeah.
And that's an example of paganism.
Yeah.
I think it's regional. It's not practiced in like the entire world, but it's like you pour one out for the homie, and it's kind of just like a meme that people do, but it's a real thing. Like people do it, and yeah.
Oh, none. Like, yo, it is a normal thing in like my culture and like a lot of other people's culture as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
where you'll go and sit with whoever it was died, whether it be the grandfather or father or whoever. You'll go and you'll sit at his graveside and you'll drink a 6 pack and pour one out. You know what I mean? And like, or at least leave one open on his motherfucking tombstone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll sit there and talk to him as if he was still there. And like a lot of that's for you, right? It's for you to be able to like work shit out in your own head. You know what I mean? So you
Of
feel
course.
more comfortable. And that's an important thing. It's like a psychological, it's a beautiful psychological thing at the end of the day, right? But like, it's all paganistic, right? And like, these are things that you're supposed to fucking have. But like, we have lost greatly because, you know, we have guys like Cubit who eat bugs and never touch grass.
I do not eat bugs, and I do touch grass. I'm extremely offended.
I said Cubit.
Um,
I said Cubit.
Okay, all right. I thought you said you. Okay, sorry.
No,
You
no, no, no,
actually
Cubit.
broke up
Yeah,
a bit.
like yeah, it's cool.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Yeah, yeah. But like guys like Cubit,
I
know?
do live in the city, to be fair, so I do kind of resemble that insult. But
he's like, I got offended.
um,
Like, yo, I feel you.
uh, no, I mean, like this is actually this is what I say is the difference between a religion and a cult, right? So when it comes to a religion, you can have pagan religious practices, like maybe you pouring out for the homie, drink a couple 6 packs and like I don't know, chill at the graveyard or whatever. And does that like make rational sense to a globalist where like you should be purchasing Starbucks and buying an iMac? No, it doesn't make logical sense to them, but it does make sense, I guess, because it in whatever way it benefits you, and the way that you know that it benefits you is because that tradition is passed on. If it hurt the people who practiced it, then it wouldn't be passed on. That's a religion. When there are memes, when there are practices that harm the individuals that practice them, that's to me that's what you call a cult. Those are cult-like things, and actually, I think that a lot of globalism, a lot of actually the political forces that exist, these are cult-like mentalities because like they're like, oh yeah, no, go ahead and get an abortion. Don't have kids. Like just end your genetic lineage. And if you do have kids, go ahead and make them trans and end your genetic lineage that way. These are unhealthy. Like the paganism is infinitely more healthy for you than the cult that is the global homo.
Well, all right. So here's the thing about the paganism, right? The paganism is actually what stops the fucking trans shit, right? Because
yeah.
like what ends up happening is locally or like in your family, whatever the case is, right? Like I remember as a kid, one of the ways that they taught you responsibility was that they'd stand here and like if you were the oldest kid in the room, right? Because like my grandparents had like 55 grandkids. If you were the oldest kid in the room and somebody started crying, you got your ass whooped, right? So therefore you were responsible for everybody who was around there, right? But like it's this basic premise of you like you as a man, like yo, you're responsible for this. Like you have these duties to your family, right? And like when you have these ceremonies that happen with whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like whether it be a death, whether it be a celebration of, you know what I mean, like a marriage or, you know what I mean, a christening or whatever the fuck you do, right? Like you have these duties that you're supposed to do. Like you have to show up early and set up tables. You have to, you know what I mean, you have to carry this, you have to do that. You know what I mean? The females are responsible for cooking and things of this nature. You know what I mean? Like when it teaches you these type of responsibilities, and that's the celebrations that go along with, and especially in your family or in your community, whatever it is, that like teach you like the respect and the responsibilities of being, you know what I mean, whatever gender you are or whoever you are, like reinforces the things that, you know what I mean, like make your society work and make your community work. And those are completely fucking lost because the vast majority of dudes and females in this country, they feel like it's a burden to motherfucking be these type of things.
They do. Well, that's because I think that we've taught people that and this is it's very much like the globalist perspective, I keep saying globalist, but it's true. Um, it's very much it's from the oligarchy. They think that they can build a stable and robust civilization top down, whereas it's not true. It has to come bottom up. Like it's the people that just have these practices and they're all like working together and being genuine humans that actually allow culture and civilization to grow from that. It's very much bottom up. It grows. It's not structured and engineered from a top down perspective. And yet, it seems as though civilization is going very much in the direction of top down engineered civilization, and it's anti-human, and I think it's fucking toxic.
Well, I would tend to completely agree with you, right? And I mean, like it is utterly and completely toxic, right? But like this is what allows our economy to keep moving forward.
Well, GDP number go up is the god that we all worship, of course.
And this is why, like almost all religions in the world, they say, you know, what I mean, like the love of money is the root of all evil. You know,
Yeah, that is true.
and that's why merchants were always suppressed in every fucking society in the history of mankind, right? But now we're all merchants. Like literally, like liberalism as a whole is the religion of fucking merchant, merchant, fucking the merchant class, right?
Yeah.
Because like it's the idea that you should be able to live everywhere the same way that you live, you know what I mean, like wherever the fuck you came from. Right. So, okay, let me give you a good example.
Yeah, yeah.
In where I
I
live,
mean,
there's a town called Camp Hill, right? And it's one of the nicest towns in the country, right? They haven't had a murder in 27 years, right? Fucking, it's this pretty, what I mean, like nice, beautiful town, suburbs, things of this nature, right? And basically, what they did was, in order to be able to make the college crowd feel comfortable, who works for the state and works for the federal government right across the river, they put in Starbucks and fucking Chick-fil-A and fucking Sonic and fucking like all these high end, you know what I mean, like national fucking chains that suit the people. Like, so if you move from Chicago or you move from like Syracuse or if you move from DC or whatever it is, you're gonna be able to eat the same way you ate there, you know what I mean, right where I live. You know what I mean? And this is a fucking problem. You know what I mean, as a whole, in that like you lose your normal fucking customary like who you are as a people. You lose all those like local little shops and people and keepers and like your local like fucking cuisine to these giant ass corporations. You know what I mean? And like this is really again the root of everything in the end of the day is that like you're supposed to be like you're supposed to like everywhere you go have it be completely different than where you left, and it's not supposed to be easy, not supposed to be an easy transition, but
No, it shouldn't be. It should not be. But there's a lot of economic incentive to make it so that everything is the same anywhere, so that you can transplant people wherever you want. Uh, it's actually it's a bit interesting though because when if you look at small towns, they tend to have like a lot of independent businesses, mom and pop stores, that kind of stuff. And you'll notice that like if you live in the suburbs, you end up with like a whole bunch of the same like chains. You get McDonald's and Gap and all the same stores. Like basically all of suburbia looks exactly the same as all the rest of suburbia in America. But um, I've been to New York, a few times. Never lived there, but I've been there a lot.
me too.
And there are like in New York City, there are actually, as large of a city as that is, there are actually a shit ton of independent businesses in New York City, and it's mostly independent businesses in New York City. So it's an interesting phenomenon where actually you get the most chains and just copy pasta stores in like the suburbs in America.
Well, okay, so like here's the thing. All right, the vast majority of like the workers, the workforce who like actually like goes and does like all the like the fucking big ass shit from in these big ass fucking like skyscrapers and shit or whatever it is in New York, they all live in New Jersey. right? And so when you go over to Bergen or go to Jersey City or go to fuck, I'm trying to think here of where the Giant Stadium is. I'm pretty sure it's in North Bergen, right? If you go to any of these fucking places, it literally looks like everywhere the fuck else in America, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't have all those like little, you know what I mean, like mom and pop spots. It has a whole bunch of like, you know what I mean, like fucking the same old copy pasta nonsense, right? Because that's what the workers want, right? That's what these upper middle class or like middle class ass suburbanites really actually want. They want Home Depot, they want Lowe's, they want Walmart, they want all this shit. And I understand why, right? Like I get it. It's because of the fact that, you know, without on time like delivery and without like having these big ass giant like chain stores, like for instance, I recently built a duck cage for my motherfucking ducks out back. Had like a bunch of PVC, put it in covered in chicken wire. You know what I mean? Like fucking, you know, had to zip tie everything down and glue everything. There was no way I was getting all those supplies at my local hardware store. Right? They just didn't have the supply. Like I would have had to wait to have all that. I would have had to place an order, get it shipped the fuck in, and then pick it up and then get it done. But on the day that I had the money just to go do it, you know what I mean, I had the time to go do it, I could just go to Home Depot and get everything I fucking need and, you know what I mean, drive it all the fuck home and put it all together and have it done before dark. You know what I mean? It's so much easier as an in general thing. But this has to do with the fact that these local mom and pop, like Appalachian Hardware, is not going to stock, you know what I mean, 10 fucking pieces of 3/4 inch PVC because they're not serving commercial fucking customers.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, like here's a benefit, right? I live in the city, um, and like you know, like there's a beer store, like in my apartment, like it's on the ground level, but like there's a beer store and it's like at the bottom of my apartment, and I can just take the elevator down and I can just like buy beer there or whatever. Also sandwiches. They have a deli. It's quite a nice little setup, and uh, but if I'm a regular there, and if I went to the shop owner, I could go, look, I want you to start selling me this beer. I'm unhappy with your beer selection. Start selling me this beer, and they will do it because they know me, and I like that. Like if for whatever reason I was like, start supplying me with this beer, they would fucking do it.
Mm. Well, like we have, again, like I have the same
And that's good.
type,
Like
like,
that's a nice thing. But if I live in the suburbs and and I go to Lowe's, I can't go, oh, start supplying me with this particular lumber because they're a chain. Like they can't, they don't have the individual customer interface like either a small town or a big city does when it comes to these like independent organizations.
yeah, we have the same problem here, right? All right, so my local little fucking like mom and pop fucking convenience store or whatever, they carry my iced tea and they carry local trash bags, right? So when I have to take my trash out every week, what ends up happening is that like the trash that I can't burn, you know what I mean, like a scraps or whatever, like fucking, you know, glass or whatever it is that I can't burn, diapers. What I have to do is I have to take I have to go and I buy a trash bag every week. And the trash bag's like $2.35 or whatever, right? I had to buy that at the local little convenience store. They have a Dollar General, which I like a lot more, if I'm perfectly honest with you, right? I like the place better. It got a better selection. It has like actual food in it. You know what I mean? It's a better place. Like it has like fucking a selection of water. You know what I mean? I can get diapers there. I can get wipes there. I can get, you know what I mean, like fucking charcoal for the grill. I can get whatever the fuck it is I need there. I have to go to like the convenience store because like the convenience store has the trash bags. It has my iced tea, and like because of the fact that like it's the Dollar General goes, well, if you don't have a SKU, then we can't motherfucking sell it. Like it makes life more difficult for us. Now we used to have like a local store that sold shit, but like in general, that shit it closed the fuck down. You know what I mean? Because you know, like people don't frequent these things. They'd much rather like go to fucking Walmart, which is like fucking 35 minutes away, than go to a local store and pay a little bit more for their fucking shit because women are fucking retarded and terrible for your society.
I mean, you bring up women, and we brought up the 14th Amendment. Can we agree that the 19th Amendment needs a maybe another looking over?
Yo, look, all right. We used to have like poll taxes and poll tests where like if you wanted to stand here and have like what the hell is that? If you wanted to stand here and vote, like it used to be that like you'd either have to A, pay to get in, or B, have to take a fucking test to prove that you were smart enough to fucking vote. And I think this needs to come back. Like this needs a big comeback because like I know that they'd make the test to the point where like none of us would pass it because it'd be full of like nonsensical bullshit gibberish. But like on the same point, I feel like we could pass the goddamn test. Like, have you seen like the Gen Z like videos of them being asked questions on the street?
Oh, from Ruckus Talks or whatever. Yeah, it's like what continent are we on right now? The United States of America. Nice. Yes.
yes. Like okay, can you name 3 states in the United States? They go
Canada,
Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Yonkers. Name 5 Kardashian sisters. Kim, ba 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 ba. Like man, listen. God damn it! Like they're so terrible.
Oh yeah, they got the Kardashians in lockdown. I know Kim Kardashian. I can't name any others.
Chloe's another one, I think.
That might be one, sure.
I think. And then the dad, I forget her name now. Whatever.
No, Kylie. Isn't there a Kylie? There's a Kylie Kardashian, I think.
Yes, maybe. I don't know.
and then Bruce. Bruce Jenner is somehow involved with this. Is he the?
He's the dad.
Where does he come in? He's the dad.
Stepdad.
He's the step. Well, she's the stepdad became stepmother, I guess.
Okay. Do you remember the OJ trial?
Vaguely. It's been a while.
Okay, so Robert Kardashian, right, was the lawyer for the OJ trial.
Okay.
That's their dad. Pretty sure.
So the reason why they're all famous is because their dad was the lawyer for the OJ trial.
No. The reason they're all famous is because Kim, back in the day, fucked Ray J and like did it on camera, and then it was like the most downloaded porno in 2007.
Oh.
And then like tape, they blew up.
Right.
Yeah. That's why they're famous.
So they're famous because their oldest sister recorded herself having sex, and that's why they're famous now.
Yes.
Okay, that totally makes sense. Yeah, that's totally a good place for American culture to be. Nice.
Yeah, man. Listen. All right. Look. If you're gonna do it, you might as well. You know what I mean? Like do it that way. I mean, like it's promoting like female positivity because like at least they're famous because they can suck a dick. It'd be way worse if they couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have, if you want to be famous, you got to have good dick sucking skills, I guess. Like
No. What I'm saying is at least we're promoting positive female, like femininity, right?
I mean,
right?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, listen, I mean, it's like, if a female, like, we have females who are famous for 2 reasons. 1, because everybody wants to fuck them. Or 2, right, because they can cook. Right? Those are the only 2 reasons why women are famous.
I mean, statistically, overall, yeah, probably. Yeah, that's right. I mean, statistically. I mean, there's a few women that are famous for other reasons, but, yeah.
I mean, who do you have? What do you? I mean, like other than like Barbara Walters, you know what I mean?
Hillary Clinton, she's famous for being a cunt.
I mean, there are, like, bruh, like, seriously, like, yo, man, listen, like, God damn it, like, yo, stop being a fucking asshole, right? But like, just God damn it, man, listen, like, yo, why you gotta do these type of things to me, man? Legitimately, like, now I gotta like do
No, you're right.
like,
You're
some
right.
extra shit.
We on this channel we love Hillary Clinton. We are extremely pro
No,
Clinton.
no,
Like,
Fridge
we're
knows what
no,
he just did. God damn it, Fridge.
What did I do?
You know what
Hello?
you did. Like, you know exactly what the fuck it is you did. There we go. All
Well,
right.
I think Tom, I think that we've
There we go. There we go. All right. I got it. I got it. No, I mean, listen, I had to take that the fuck off. Like, legitimately, right? Like, yo, because, like, literally, he said there are 4 stupid niggers facing each other, right? And, like, yo, I had to put a different picture up, right? Because, like, yo, I can't, like, have that be, like, my thumbnail on YouTube, right? Because, like, I feel like I will get banned, like, immediately.
Oh, is this in the general chat? Is that where this is?
Yeah, it was in the
Wait, are you
general
live
chat.
streaming?
No, I got this, like, recording. So, like,
I didn't think you were.
yeah, I'm recording, right? So, like, literally, I'm just, like, recording the goddamn Discord so you can see, like, who's talking when they talk.
Why you gotta record?
Because me and General are doing a show.
You're in a recording chat.
Oh, that's great. It's fantastic.
What's going on, Agent Meth?
Agent Meth.
I just had like a shit ton of chicken.
Good job, buddy. Congratulations. You win all of the chicken.
Yay.
Yay.
I fucking
Right.
did.
But yeah, man, listen, women are only famous because, like, either they had sex on camera or everybody wants to
Roboting.
have sex with them. I'm roboting? God damn it.
Well, I think I think that's a good as place as any to wrap up. I think that
I'm
we've
with
gone
you.
sufficiently into the weeds. I think that we've discussed plenty of things. So
I'm with you. I'm
I
with you.
guess my final statement. You can give your final words after me, Pnoid. But I guess my final words will be: look, the solution to all of this is that you burn down civilization and return to monkey. That's fundamentally the best thing that one can do, and I'll leave it at that. Go ahead, Tom.
I mean, returning to monkey might be the absolute, like, best solution as a whole, right? But at minimum, like, we need to repeal the 19th and then burn down civilization and, what I mean, like, return, like, returned women to being, like, barefoot and naked in the goddamn fucking kitchen pregnant. Right. I feel like that's the best way.
Absolutely, fucking absolutely, and peace out, everyone.
Doesn't that say that in the Bible?